top of the morning to ya. Hey everybody, it's Tiara Shea with Insert Burger Pun, and no, that was not my weird way of greeting you, but it's actually to the name of today's Bob's Burgers episode. Da, 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 da. And also a glimpse into the holiday that I will be teaching you about. Have you guessed it yet? No? 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 Well, it's St. Patrick's Day. Ta-da! St. Patrick's Day! So surprisingly enough, Bob's Burgers only has one St. Patrick's Day themed episode, and it's called Flat Top of the Morning to Ya. No, Flat Top of the Morning. And it is season 10, episode 16, which is just one off of 17. They were really so close to getting it on that. I don't know why they didn't do it. I'm not necessarily going to be going into great detail about the episode itself, just because it's pretty cut and dry if you look at it. Bob tells Linda not to dye stuff green. Linda ends up dyeing stuff green.
Thank you, though, for making all of this. But we're just going to keep St. Patrick's Day up here, right? No dyeing stuff green in the restaurant?
What? No, just the beer. You'll love it.
Meanwhile, Bob goes through, another midlife crisis with his fear of failure when he goes to pick up discounted plates from a auction of a restaurant that doesn't make it and has to sell all of their shit.
Oh, I'm Bob. So what happened? Why'd you close? Sorry, is that rude? I really need to know because of fear. Is a restaurant a recipe for failure?
So instead, I thought it would be neat to just talk about St. Patrick's Day as a whole, the history of it, and just give you guys some knowledge. So first and foremost, I want to say that a lot of this knowledge I got was based off the internet. I got it from the internet, from sites like Lifehacker, History.com, even YouTube. Thank you, fellow YouTubers. And good old Wikipedia, Do you donate? I don't. But that's okay. That's to be said. Do you donate? You should. We gotta keep that site alive. It helps us cheat. It helps us learn. Did I say cheat? I mean, it helps us learn. Well, when we think about St. Patrick's Day, we usually think about pinching our enemies without consequences because we found out that we're 0.5% Irish. Wearing green.
None of you are wearing green. I pinch you, I pinch you, I pinch you, and you.
Getting completely wasted while wearing green beads around your neck. And yes, I'm gonna be wearing this for the rest of the video, so get used to it. We also think about leprechauns. We think about good old pot of gold, maybe even the movie Luck of the Irish from Disney, a movie that doesn't really do much for Irish culture, but it is nostalgic as fuck. So in this video, I'm gonna be breaking down who this St. Patrick guy is and where did he come from, what's his deal. I'm also gonna be talking about the history of St. Patrick's Day, how it came about. So without further ado, let's hit some knowledge. Who is St. Patrick? Was he born a saint? Was he born a Patrick? Well, the answer is no to both of those things. He's not even Irish, guys.
I wish that I could bake a cake made out of rainbows and smiles and we'd all eat it, be happy.
She doesn't even go here.
He's actually from Britain, circa 386 BD. No, not BD, AD. And was a part of the Roman Empire. His given name was Mawe Sucket, which I'm completely butchering. I'm just gonna put the spelling over here or something like that. You guys can roast me about it later, and I'm sure that name would sound way more sexy and more eloquent if someone like Liv Tyler was saying it, make it sound all beautiful and elvish. Mawe Sucket. But yeah, so he is not even Irish. How did he get to Ireland? Well, it wasn't on good terms. He was actually kidnapped at age 16 by Irish raiders and was taken to Ireland to be a slave. Yikes! Slavedom, slavehood. But he ended up being able to escape after 6 years and went back to Britain so that he could study Christianity and learn more about the religion, because it was something that he really clung to during his time being a slave. So his movie would be 6 Years a Slave. in Ireland. And I mean, we all have our ways of coping with trauma, and you know, being kidnapped and forced to be a slave is pretty darn traumatic. So if clinging to Jesus was his way of coping with that, more power to him. Like, good job on that. So ironically enough, after he became a priest, he was assigned to go back to Ireland. Not sure if that's like to relive his trauma and, you know, get through that, or just maybe because he was familiar with the territory. Awful. It was during that time that he finally decided to take on his new name, his like priest name, if you will, and it was Patricius, or Patrick, which is the Latin term for father figure. So when he got back to Ireland, he did as all Christians love to do, or I'll say most, I'm not gonna put everybody in a bubble, as most Christians love to do, which was spread the good word of Jesus Christ to as many people as possible. But what does this have to do with snakes, Tierra Shay? I'll tell ya. One of the most talked about St. Patrick's Day myths is that Sir St. Patrick himself drove out all the snakes out of Ireland, which is really funny to picture, like a guy shoving as many snakes as he could into the back of a car, like a Volkswagen Beetle or something like that, and just shoving as many snakes as he could and then driving it off up into the Irish moor being like, snakes no more! But in actuality, there were never snakes in Ireland because it is an island and snakes wouldn't have been able to swim out there. And even if they were able to swim out there and, you know, get to Ireland and be like, we're Irish now, they wouldn't have been able to handle the weather in Ireland because they are cold-blooded and it's just too extreme in terms of weather for snakes to be able to survive. So that is myth debunked. I'm so sorry, St. Patrick. I mean, technically, if there were never any snakes to begin with, then sure, you drove out all the snakes because your car was empty. But this myth was also somewhat justified as symbolism for St. Patrick ridding Ireland of paganism as a religion, just because any non-Christians were kind of seen as a threat to him, and so he did his best to boot out as many as he could or convert as many people as he could to Christianity as a way to kind of like purify Ireland and get Christianity out there in Ireland. So in one way, that was ridding Ireland of all the snakes, because we know that snakes and serpents are often referred to, you know, like pagans, and also they represent characters of deceit and things like that in Christian literature, like the Bible. I'm looking at you, serpent from Garden of Eden, and also the snake from Jungle Book. Those were types of that's the type of representation of snakes that people try to lump together with St. Patrick, of ridding Ireland of snakes. So not necessarily real little snakes, but more of just talking about getting rid of or converting people to Christianity, getting rid of paganism and converting people to Christianity. In my opinion, it seems pretty convert or die-ish, but I wasn't alive back then, so I can't be upset. Did you know that St. Patrick's colors were actually blue and not green? What? Well, this is partly due to this, the Irish flag being blue, you know, I'll put a picture, and blue armbands, blue flags were representation of the Irish Citizens Army.
Aaron, go black! More like Aaron, go black!
But how did we go from blue to green? Because I'm wearing a whole lot of green and I don't want to look stupid. Enter Shamrocks.
Aye, come celebrate. McDonald's is serving up the one and only Shamrock Shake. They're tasty, cool, and delicious. But hurry, they won't be around for long, and that's no blarney.
It makes kids glad and it thrills mom and dad. It's the most fun by far since Aaron go brought together. McDonald's and you.
That's fine. No, I'm not talking about the McDonald's Shamrock Shake that is really good and comes around only once a year, but I'm talking, Hold on. Ooh. Got my knowledge glasses on now. Okay. No, I'm talking about shamrocks, clovers, all that good stuff. That's what we're talking about right now. So what do clovers and shamrocks have to do with St. Patrick himself, and what the fuck? So shamrocks were actually used by St. Patrick as a way to teach the people of Ireland about the Holy Trinity, Beyonce, Kelly, and sometimes Michelle.
What would you pick?
An animal? Oh, that's hard. I know what I'd be. A whale.
Why?
I love whales.
Why is that?
I loved whales since I was a little girl.
She wants to touch one day.
I think I would be a bird.
Why?
Because they can fly.
I'm just kidding. That was way funnier when it was written down. Just kidding. I'm talking about the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
I would like to be a Black Panther.
Ooh.
Why is that, Michelle?
Because she's sexy.
So
and
I can
she's a black cat.
through the wilderness. And I like when they walk, their backs go like that.
Yeah.
And when they step better than I do. They step with the stride. And
lions are full too.
So when I walk out of here, I'm gonna step like a Black Panther.
No, Michelle. I'm talking about shamrocks. So poorer Irish folk would wear their shamrock on their church clothes to make themselves feel fancy and feel like closer to God. It also ended up going on to being a symbol for hope, love, faith, and also the rebirth of spring. So yay to azaleas.
With spring, I remember because the azaleas were in bloom.
Ooh, azaleas!
Oh, the azaleas are beautiful in making. Second only to their crank. That sweet making crank.
Oh.
The symbol of the clover was also seen in the military and things like the Irish Rebellion. They would attach the clovers to their lapels on their uniforms, and it would just be a way to show not only that they represented nationalism, but just to feel a little bit closer to their heritage and things like that. And the fad ended up spreading to where they ended up changing the uniforms to be more of a greenish color, which was something that also changed in over in Ireland as well, with just non-military, like people themselves. Just if you couldn't attach a clover to your church clothes, you would just wear something green to church to celebrate. And then that just kind of evolved into wearing green, and now we all wear green, and it's great. And that's something that I'm glad, because green doesn't get as much love as it should when it comes to fashion. It's also worth mentioning that technically, I'm gonna say technically because I'm not a professional in any way, technically the shamrock doesn't exist. But thanks to botanists, internet sleuths, all the people of the world, we've been able to narrow it down to at least 3 different possible leaf families, leaf plants. The first is called the wood sorrel, and I'll put the spelling below. The white clover and the yellow clover. So they don't know anything about a shamrock, or especially a 4-leaf clover, but we do have the yellow, the white clover, as well as the wood sorrel as the possible plants that they used to like pin onto their clothing back in the day. What's a leprechaun? No, it's not a slur, don't worry. It's not a slur, it's a freaking scary ass movie series. I don't know if you've seen it. It's scarier than Chucky. I would say it's in the same realm as Chucky, but I think it's scarier because Chucky is still a doll. You know, he is a dollable. But Leprechaun, the Leprechaun series, not only does he go to the hood, so you know he doesn't like he's not afraid. He's not afraid to kill anybody. But yeah, I think while in the same realm as Chucky and all that, the Leprechaun series is much scarier. Maybe I should rewatch it as an adult to see if I was just being, like a puss. But from my recollection as a child, I was terrified of a leprechaun because he looked like this and said shit like this.
Little girls shouldn't look for 4-leaf clovers.
And overall just had made everybody's St. Patrick's Day a shitty time. So what's a leprechaun in relation to St. Patrick's Day? The original name for these figures of folklore is Leprechaun. Also probably said that wrong, but it means small-bodied fellow. But in Celtic lore, leprechauns were seen as cranky souls and were responsible for mending the shoes of other fairies. So basically they were fairy shoe cobblers for other fairies, which I would be cranky too if I were a fairy and my job were to just fix the shoes of other fairies. Like, I just want to be a fairy, leave me alone. I don't want to fix your fucking shoe. Maui suck it. The Celtics really love their fairies, and the legend has it that leprechauns are the ones that pinch you if you're not wearing green. So it's not me, it's not your friend Lisa, it's the leprechaun. So if you are not wearing green, the leprechaun fairy is gonna come and pinch you. Or in, you know, leprechaun movie series, probably stab you in the face. So I'm not gonna say that I don't not believe in fairies, because I know what happens to a fairy if you say something like that. I've seen Peter Pan, I know. But yeah, in addition to being universally known as the mascot for St. Patrick's Day, leprechauns are also known for their trickery, their pot of gold, and just being fairies that are not to be fucked with, guys. Don't mess with the leprechauns. What are some traditional St. Patrick's Day food and drinks? That was stupid. So what are some of the traditional St. Patrick's Day food and drinks that are out there? So one of the signature dishes of St. Patrick's Day is corned beef, cabbage, and some sort of potato. Or in, you know, Linda's case, she does a corned beef hash for breakfast for everybody.
I wanted to make corned beef hash.
Hash? Isn't that illegal?
It was, then it wasn't. What a ride.
So things like that, which I thought was pretty neat because the corned beef aspect of the meal is not necessarily popular among people in Ireland, more of people who are Irish American. So the people who immigrated over to America were more than likely to do the corned beef version because the meat was cheaper, the beef was cheaper, and they would usually go to Jewish butchers because those were who the butchers were in their neighborhoods, and they would be giving them kosher meat like corned beef, and they would be less likely to provide them with pork or lamb chop, which is the type of meat that people over in Ireland are eating on St. Patrick's Day. So corned beef and hash and corned beef and cabbage and potatoes became super popular among Irish American people and is now kind of the most popular meal to have during St. Patrick's Day.
No, Kitty, this is my corned beef cabbage. No, Kitty, that's a bad Kitty.
Other common foods and popular foods are shepherd's pie, which is just potatoes and meats and vegetables. I love shepherd's pie. Like, it's a meat pie, you know? It's not like Sweeney Todd meat pie, but it's very similar to that. And then there is colcannon. I'm probably saying it wrong, but that's just mashed potatoes and cabbage together, and Irish soda bread, which does have ties to Native Americans. So thank you for that. Irish soda bread is kind of like a very dense, it's like, I don't want to say it's a cracker, but it's more dense than that. And it's between I would say, let's say it's between a bread and a cracker. Well, what are we drinking? What are we drinking during St. Patrick's Day? That's the best part, right? So odds are you'll be drinking a lot of beer. There are so many different varieties of Irish beers out there, but the top brand that is consumed on St. Patrick's Day is Guinness. And I looked it up, and a whopping 3 million pints of Guinness are drunk during St. Patrick's Day, which is higher than the 600,000 that's usually drunk on a normal day. So on St. Patrick's Day, we're drinking 3 million pints. On a random Tuesday, we're drinking 600,000 pints. That's still, I feel like, a high number, but hey, I don't know. What if you don't like beer? Oh no, that's okay, because I myself am not a big beer person. I'm definitely the type who goes to a brewery and asks if they have any type of cider or if I can have a cocktail. Usually they say no to the cocktail and yes to the cider. But yeah, if you don't drink beer and you're not a big fan of it, that's okay. You can still celebrate St. Patrick's Day with a cocktail of some sort of whiskey. You can do like Bailey's.
An Irish coffee for you, Bob.
Whoa, wait, there's whiskey in this?
What? No. Is that what an Irish coffee is? I was just calling it that because I accidentally dropped some corned beef in it.
But yeah, you have all of the popular Irish whiskeys. I'm sure I'm putting pictures of them right now. And you could still get in the spirit of things and celebrate St. Patrick's Day. I'm definitely going to be drinking a cocktail later and already say cheers to you. Bob's Burgers did a good job of taking kind of a snapshot of what modern St. Patrick's Day celebration looks like with the, you know, dyeing everything green, the St. Patrick's Day parade and celebrations at the Wonder Wharf. And they did take it a little too far with literally dyeing. I think they dyed ketchup green, they dyed the beef green, they dyed the beer green.
Too beefy. Needs more green. Just a little more meat to balance it out. Now it's fun. And now all our ground beef is green.
And it made it so Teddy and Linda's mouths were completely green. It looked like they were sick or had like snuck into Willy Wonka's factory and like ate all the green grass.
Oh, I can really taste the food coloring.
Yeah, I had to use a lot. Ha! Your mouth!
Your mouth.
Oh, God. Look at us. We look so Irish.
So they did take it a little bit too far, but what's a Bob's Burger episode without them taking it a little too far? Am I right? They always take it too far. Whatever. Woo. That was like a share thing. I don't think that's what I meant it to be. Woo. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I learned a lot about St. Patrick's Day, and I really hope that you guys did too. How are you going to celebrate St. Patrick's Day this year? How did you celebrate St. Patrick's Day this year? Be sure to leave comments below, like the video, subscribe to our channel, Insert Burger Pun, email us at insertburgerpun@gmail.com, and I can't wait to make another video or do another episode for the podcast. But happy St. Patrick's Day and stay out of my room!